Welcome to the pool cleaner uh, discussion here. So we'll get into it real quick. There are four types of pool cleaners. There's pressure, suction, automatic pool cleaners, also called robots, powered by electricity, and in-floor pool cleaners. Okay, so first of all, there's pressure side. What is this? Well, water flows from the pool filter into a booster pump. Looks like this. This is a booster pump. There's different brands and models, but you've probably seen one out there. This is a booster pump. And it flows into the front of the booster pump, out of the top of the booster pump, and it pushes high pressure water into its own pipe. Um, all that pipe does is flow into the side of the pool wall, and there's a little fitting that connects to a hose, and that hose goes into the cleaner, and it turns gears inside of this cleaner to make this thing roll all over the place, and it blows water up into this bag, creating a suction. So it's blowing it so fast through this bag that things come along under here and suck up into that bag. Now, these bags have to get popped off and they have to get removed and dumped out because the good thing is they're collecting garbage off the floor, which is what we want, and they need to get dumped out. Sometimes those bags get holes, they need to get replaced. Sometimes the wheels, the tires wear down, they need to get replaced. The wheels break off, they get replaced. Um, Also, the booster pump has to be on, or it's just not enough water to make this thing roll and do anything worthwhile. There's a wall fitting that has to go into the wall, and you'll see all these things. And then also there's a backup valve. And what it does is it backs up the Polaris every 5 minutes as it rolls. It'll take this thing and lift it off the ground and shoot it across the pool somewhere else in case it gets stuck at a wall or something like that. If that backup valve is constantly shooting water, then it's time to replace that little backup valve, and we can show you more on that. The next type of cleaner, we don't see that often compared to the pressure side. That's really big here. Is called suction side. So pressure, that other one was rolling by pressure. This one rolls by suction. It's the least common and it's actually the least effective. They kind of suck. You get it? Haha. So what happens is a valve plugs into the skimmer or a dedicated suction port on the side of the pool, and it sucks water in, which makes these gears turn, and it sucks junk up into here into the pump, just like the main drain's sucking water, the skimmer's sucking water, this thing's sucking water too into there, and the garbage that it picks up. And that's what it does. It goes along the floor, sucking up the junk and putting it into the pump/filter. Now, it's a brilliant idea. You think, okay, this thing sucks. There's no extra pump needed. There's nothing to plug in. It's all inside the pool. It picks up the garbage from the floor and pulls it straight into the filter. What could be better? And that's true. That's exactly what it does. But the problem with these things, there's several of them. One, they just have a really small opening. I don't know why. I guess they have to keep it small, but like maple leaves can't get sucked into it. It just clogs them up. Twigs won't fit in it. Sticks, rocks, whatever will clog them up. And so the opening is just tiny. They're great for dirt and really small leaves, but that's about it. The parts wear out really fast, a lot faster than in other types of cleaners. I'm not sure exactly why, but they just do. And sometimes they just simply stop working. Especially this type right here, we call it the clicky bouncy type because it clicks along the water and just clicks along. You'll see it, but they'll stop clicking and therefore stop working for no good reason. You could have a ton of pressure, a ton of water suction coming through, or not enough, and it just stops clicking for no good reason. They're just dumb sometimes. And you have to have so much suction in the perfect amount of suction at all times. So, and it's impossible to keep the perfect amount of suction at all times. Maybe the filter gets clogged, which the suction reduces. Maybe somebody opened up a valve somewhere or a skimmer basket gets clogged somewhere, and then there's too much pressure or suction. So they're real finicky. They're amazing when they work. They're the best when they work, but they're just super finicky and just barely ever do work. Now this is an automatic pool cleaner. You may have heard it referred to as a Dolphin. Dolphin is like sodas and Cokes. It's just a name brand that is synonymous with a robotic cleaner. Uh, these things plug into a wall into power, and it converts the power from 110 volts AC, which can shock people, down to 28 volts DC, which is nothing. I mean, you could lick that with your tongue and barely feel anything. It's not going to hurt anybody. So this is in the water rolling with 28 volts DC and whatever. Nobody's going to get hurt. The power goes into this here little control box. And then the control box has a cord that comes out of it that plugs into the actual robot. And it rolls around the floor. The thing sits here and has spinning brushes that spin and pull the water and suck it into a debris canister on site in the side itself. So this thing's spinning, brushing, wheels like a tank, rolling all over the place, sucking water in and filtering it out in its own little canister. Now these things are cool. You don't need a booster pump. Those booster pumps are 1 horsepower pumps running all the time. These aren't. These are super energy efficient. They use like 200 watts while they're rolling. It's really not much. Very energy efficient. I run mine every single day because why not? They catch debris inside their own filter, and you just pop it open, pull this handle out, and dump that basket out, spray them out, pop it back in, back to work. One of the coolest things about these, the other type of cleaners, suction and pressure, they're supposed to climb the walls, sort of, but they don't. They might get a foot or two up usually, and maybe that's it. These things will roll straight up the walls, scrub the walls, and even scrub the tile line. They'll move sideways and scrub the tile line. That muck and garbage that collects on the tile line, not with these. This thing will scrub the tile line and the walls, just all of it when they work right. When they don't work right, it's because of this control box. Sometimes they just flip out. You'll hit the button and nothing happens, and nobody knows why. It's just weird, but get a new control box. But it's still better, cheaper than buying a new booster pump when they burn out and stuff like that. You don't need it. It's the box and the robot. And these things clean the best. There's only one drawback to these, in that there's a cord hanging over the deck. So let's say this is on a table next to the wall, plugged into the wall. There's a blue cord going, that looks like this, plugged into this control box, laying over the deck. So it's a tad bit unsightly, kind of unfortunate, but it works. It's worth it. And it's a little pricey. It's $600 plus, but so is a pressure side cleaner, the Polaris, which, let's see, this thing $600 too, just by itself, and then a booster pump, that's $400 just for the pump, plus install. And so these wear out a lot more actually than these. So the value is so much better with these right here. Okay, lastly, there's the in-floor cleaners. So these filtered water pushes through a dome with gears. Those domes look like this. Water's coming in and pushing out one of these 6 pipes. It spins gears with these ports, 5 or 6 ports, however many. It spins gears so that only one of these is getting flow at a time. And then this one, and then that one, and then that one, and then finally this one, that kind of thing. And what it's doing is it flows into one pipe and it feeds 3 to 5 pop-up heads that look like this on the bottom of the pool floor. So these now shoot high pressure water out, and then they go down, and then they'll rotate and shoot it this way, and then they'll go back down. When they come back up, they'll shoot it that way. So it's a 360 degree shoot, pushing strong water along the floor to stir up the debris. And what happens is, it'll blow it from here to over here. and you've got these all over the pool. It's just pushing the dirt around, and eventually that debris gets filtered out through the circulation system as it goes through the skimmer or through the main drain. It'll eventually get filtered out. Um, if you run these all day long and they're working properly, there's actually nothing better. They kick butt. There's no hoses hanging out. There's no plug-ins. There's no anything. Um, Now they're built into the pool from the beginning, and they're the best when everything's working properly, which is kind of rare because these little heads, they sometimes they'll pop up and they won't rotate. So you'll have a stretch of clean like from here to here, and everything else behind it is just going to be dirty because this thing won't rotate. So it's got to get replaced, and they're like $60 a piece and a pain because you got to have a special tool to pop these out and to screw the new one back in. There's no extra pumps. They run off the one pump. Water pushes through and goes out. Inside these floor domes, there are gears that make it one pipe water flow at a time. And these gears will get stripped out. So we were replacing these gears a lot, especially in this tan unit. We replace these gears a lot. But then you can also use, some people will use this along with this at the same time, and that's fine. If you have it all ready and plumbed, then who cares, go for it. But when this is working properly, it's the best. You're talking $1,000 for a booster pump and a cleaner, or $1,000 for a really good Dolphin. You're talking like $10,000 or $15,000 for this setup built into the pool. It's crazy. But when they work, and it can be pretty good. Oftentimes, though, you'll have some dead spots in the pool. Even when these rotate all the way, maybe this one was a foot farther out than it should have been, and there's going to be a patch right in here where the other one is, and it's going to just collect dirt, and there's not enough power to push water, and the dirt just collects right there, or in the corners or something like that. It'd be piles of dirt because it'll clean everything except for those corners, and that sucks. So just come out and brush it further out and hope that it gets blown away and sucked in, that kind of thing. So that's an in-floor cleaning system. But there are the 4 types: in-floor, suction, pressure, and then automatic, like the Dolphins. You'll see all those out there. Just feel free to ask, and we'll be talking about those as we see them.